Marquise here is an unbelievable reviewer, tech reviewer, and I kind of want to see what he says about the new iPhone 15. So maybe this year I'll finally upgrade. Let me know if you guys think I should upgrade.
Is an iPhone 15 and a 15 Plus and a 15 Pro and a 15 Pro Max. Every new phone in the lineup, new colors, new materials, new ports. There's some good stuff to unbox here, so let's do it. So starting with iPhone 15 and 15.
Real quick, I don't care. I like the port. I like to have all my things at the same port, and I don't have to pay for any more Apple dongles. I'll be happy with that. But besides that, the reason I like phones is because of the new features they have every year. And I'm hoping, besides just the traditional color changes, that we have something really cool, something that matches Samsung or Google,
15 Plus. This iPhone 15 here is the new blue color, and it is... I'm just going to go ahead and rename this color to barely
White?
blue. I think that's an
It's not
appropriate
blue.
name because it really is barely giving hints of blue. You can really see it on the side rails too. But yeah, really subtle colors across the board this year. Anyway, the other things in the box are the paperwork, the single white Apple
don't
sticker,
care.
and there is no SIM card ejector tool here since they're all eSIM, at least in the US now. But most importantly, the new cable in the iPhone box for all new iPhones.
Brenda said 15
is a
seems like it's
single
got very few
white
upgrades.
braided USB-C to USB-C
I don't think this is the
cable.
right time for
I
me
think
to
this is
change
the
my
first time
phone.
the
What do you
iPhone
guys
is
think?
shipping with a braided nice cable like this. So hopefully
So you
it'll
don't
be
have to
higher
spend money
quality
for
and more
something else?
durable than old cables we've been getting for years. So cool, USB-C cable, USB-C phone. Now if we take a look at the Plus, same idea, bigger box, but this new incredibly pale yellow. I mean, again,
I need the
in
Plus.
perfect
My
lighting at the
thumbs
Apple
and
event,
fingers
I
are
think it looked a little
gigantic.
bit more colorful, but it just looks extremely pale out here. The Pro boxes for the Pro phones as well. Still white boxes, but dark wallpapers. So the iPhone 15 Pro I have here is the new dark blue color. I almost want to call this one barely blue again, but this time it's darker and kind of borders on gray when the light hits it from certain angles. Very safe. Same stuff in the box after that,
Yeah,
though.
digital,
The
that makes
paperwork,
sense.
the white Apple sticker, and the new braided USB-C cable. And then our iPhone 15 Pro Max here is the new natural titanium color. And
I don't like the
I gotta
colors.
say, guys, I think this is going to be the one to get. It's the best color in person in the hand. I'll
Really?
talk more about why in a minute, but there you have it. The slightly new unboxing experience on iPhone 15s and 15 Pros. So by the time you see this, I've been testing these phones for about 6 days now, and 15 Pros. So by the time you see this, I've been testing these phones for about 6 days now. Not quite enough time for a review by my standards, but still plenty of time to give you some interesting thoughts, some things that I've picked up on, and some quirks. So first of all, these pale colors, I don't really know how else to say it. Like, this might be totally fine with you.
I don't
always
like
get told
them.
everyone's going to
They're
put a case
terrible.
on their phone, which they probably are. But hey, Apple did spend a ton of time and money making this
To copy
new
Google.
softer touch satin finish on the back. And some of us will carry our phones around with no case. So it's worth mentioning.
My case is
For the
super
Pro
thin.
phones, there's actually an extra layer of interesting
You
though,
can't even
because
tell
they've
it's
switched
there.
that rail material, the part
I
that
like
you
this
actually touch on
company.
the outside, from shiny stainless steel to brushed titanium. We've all heard about how much lighter it is, and it's something like 10% lighter, which is enough for me to notice and enjoy. But the other thing is, I thought the brushed finish would sort of eliminate fingerprints on the sides. Absolutely not. I was wrong about that. I mean, it's not as bad as stainless steel, but especially on these darker colors like the black or this blue,
Alden,
you
you've
can
experienced
totally see fingerprints and sort of where your hand
Thanks, Alden, for bringing
oils
this in.
are marking up the sides of the phone.
It's
And then on
disgusting.
top of that, this is not anodized like aluminum might be. This is the new PVD coating they talked about on stage. And it's only been a week here for me,
Your
and so I
case
don't know
screws
exactly
together?
how well this will hold up over time. But what I do know is if you get a scratch deep enough into this coating, it's got to
paint
be
comes
the
off.
natural titanium color underneath, which is very light. And so that might look rough if you drop this phone with no case and get like a big gash on your dark colored phone and have light marks all over it. All of that to say, I do really think that this natural titanium or the light is going to be the better color to get on the Pros this year. Okay, some things I've noticed in my first week. So first of all, on the Pro, the bezels are technically
Dustin's
a little
got
bit
a
thinner,
bulletproof
which makes the
phone.
buys a little smaller. But you really don't notice that much after a few minutes. What you do notice more actually visually is the slightly softer curves all the way around these phones. Seriously, on the 15 and 15 Pro.
It
Because
looks
on the
exactly the
14, it
same.
was so square. Like it just went straight to the edge with a flat display and then it dropped right into the rail at 90 degrees.
By the way, it looks
On these
dirty
new
and
phones, the
disgusting.
edge of the front
These
glass
are new
actually
phones.
has a little bit of curve at the very edges. So it's a softer curve into the rail. Then the rail itself has softer curves than the totally sharp corners from last year. So I think it's a nice hybrid of making it just more comfortable in the hand with these curves, but still keeping the generally boxy look. Now, with USB-C on these phones, we already learned that you can just plug in a cable to charge an accessory, right? So it's no reverse wireless charging, but you can at least plug in a USB-C cable straight to AirPods or
And
an
charge your
Apple Watch
AirPods?
MagSafe charger, whatever,
That's
and it will
awesome.
charge from your phone's battery.
You have a
So that's already pretty interesting.
pretty
But I
awesome.
decided it's worth learning.
By the way, that's also ridiculous because iPhones have a terrible battery life. So if they didn't improve your battery life and then they gave you reverse charging so you can charge your other stuff, by the time you charge your earpods, your phone would be dead. But you have charged earpods, buddy.
all the rules and behaviors of plugging things into the iPhone 15.
Still no audio jack.
So here they are. So if you plug in any older Lightning iPhone into a USB-C iPhone, regardless of the charge state, the USB-C iPhone will always give battery to the Lightning iPhone. Every single time, no matter what.
Why?
Now, if you plug in another
Why is
USB-C
this a
iPhone
thing?
into your USB-C iPhone, it actually does a handshake where they talk to each other, figure out which one has the lower battery,
Okay.
and then the one with the higher stated charge goes, all right, I'm a battery bank, and I will start charging the one
This
with
is
the
great
lower stated
for your
charge,
family,
all the way till
wife,
you
when you're
unplug it. So I
traveling.
thought
This
that
is a
was pretty
great
interesting,
thing.
and it works pretty well. Then I decided to try a couple of Android phones and see if the same handshake happened. Basically, what we found is if you plug into your friend's Android phone who has more battery than you, and that phone has USB PD, it will actually act like a battery bank. But if the phone doesn't have USB PD, which is a bunch actually right now, it's pretty inconsistent, and you could end up charging it, or it could end up charging you. Literally unplug and try it again. But if it has USB power delivery, it will actually do the same handshake that the iPhones do.
I love if the wire just started melting because they're both trying to charge each other.
It's only 4.5 watts out, so it's not huge. It's not going to fast charge or anything. But, it is ideal for accessories. You can literally use the cable in the box to charge up the new AirPods or whatever else you want to try. But yeah,
Hey, Aldo.
you can rescue another smartphone in a pinch. So then, the new action button on the Pros. I was very curious about this. I was not
Action
sure if
button?
it would have some restrictions or if there's some things that it wouldn't let you do.
Hey, Adel.
And it turns out I haven't been able to find any so far. It seems like it basically lets you do anything you
What's
want,
an
and
action
I'm very
button?
happy about that. I mean, this was a feature of a lot of Android phones in the past. There were some LG phones that did this, some Sony phones.
So I have this feeling now I wanted to say because I'm hearing this all. iPhone doesn't innovate anymore. They just steal from everyone else. I guarantee you that's what it feels like. It feels like they're like, what ideas do other brands have that we can just use to improve our phone rather than, hey, you know how we used to make things that impressed everyone? Let's not do that anymore.
I want to say some Asus phones. I'm hoping it starts to make a bit of a comeback here because on this new iPhone, it is great. So you jump into the settings and go to action button, and it loads up this whole
That's cool.
crazy UI that's just like nothing like any of the other settings pages on the iPhone. Like they just stapled this in here, but okay.
Someone went OP.
And as I showed you in the impressions video, you can do any number of pre-programmed things with this button. By default, it is still the mute switch that it replaces. And it has those two different haptic patterns, so when you mute it in your pocket, you know exactly what you're doing without even checking you did it correctly. But honestly, I don't know, I leave my phone on mute most of the time anyway. So you can also have it open up the camera in any of the camera modes, but then again, the camera
have the
shortcut
camera.
is like right
Yeah,
on your
right
lock
there.
screen already, and I'm
So
pretty
what's the
used
point
to
of
that.
it?
Same thing with the flashlight. You can do
Again,
that, but it's also
shortcuts
already
right
on
there.
everyone's lock screen.
Yeah.
I like the voice memo trigger. It's actually pretty convenient because it immediately
The voice memo trigger would be good. Imagine if you're in a meeting or at school and someone's saying something totally inappropriate or a cop is trying to fuck you up or something like that. You just hit that emergency record button to record the conversation for later.
starts recording when you press and hold the button.
I like
but my
that.
favorite, by a mile, is the Siri shortcuts function because it basically lets you do
But then I wouldn't trust anyone who has iPhone 15 because holy crap, can I say anything without them recording me?
anything else. You can have it, you can stack up a bunch of different functions that are like location dependent, or you can have it call a certain contact or do certain things, or if you just want to literally open any app on your phone with zero lag. So it could be your to-do list app
I
or your
like it.
calendar app or
I
just
can't believe
open
we haven't
YouTube
had it
with any
set.
one button press. Whatever you want. For me, I'm going to map my action button on my brand new iPhone to the Google Assistant, the best assistant available on the iPhone. Also, Apple, if you're listening, I also wish you could map a double press or a triple press of the action button to a new specific function.
That's smart.
Just think about it. Also, I was kind of
Voice
curious how
activated
cases would
self-destruct.
handle this new action button, so I asked channel sponsor Dbrand to send over their new Ghost case, and I have it here. Personally, pretty solid. I think this matte black skeleton design looks sick, and yes, I can confirm that even with the case, the action button still feels nice and clicky. Now, you might be thinking, all right, what's so special about this clear case? I've seen a million clear cases. And between the skeleton and MagSafe, there's a bunch of other stuff, but my favorite personally is if you've ever owned a clear case before, you probably know that after a while, it
I don't
kinda
like
ends
clear
up
cases.
looking like this. Just disgusting and yellow. But Dbrand has promised me that they've specifically engineered the Ghost case to be impossible to yellow.
I don't know if that's
and they use
possible.
those words themselves. So they actually give you like a lifetime case replacement guarantee if it ever yellows. So that's either a real promise or free cases for life, the way I see it. Either way, if you're interested, I'll leave a link below the like button if you want to check it out. That's the Dbrand Ghost case. Now, I've also been taking some pictures and videos with these new cameras to get a sense of how they perform. I will be taking many more, posting them on Twitter if you want to follow me there, Instagram as well. I also fully plan on shooting the next autofocus car channel video with this phone. Oh, does this fix the horrible nighttime flare issues with the iPhone's video?
Yeah, does it?
First thing I did was go to a dark room, bring it out at night, shoot with some lights.
You still see the
No.
flares?
It didn't fix it, unfortunately. I'm sure the coating does some other great stuff during the daytime, but there's still flare issues, sadly. But also, lastly, I want to clarify the new camera behavior on the Pro phones.
Wait, what?
In the impressions video, I was a little down on the whole like 1x versus 1.2x versus 1.5x thing because I thought it was literally just a digital crop, which would be pretty pointless to me. But it's actually closer to a set of super res zoom presets that you can actually then digitally zoom between. I'll detail all of this in the full reviews, and here's some benchmark scores in case you're curious about that sort of thing for performance for the A17 Pro, which is actually new. But generally, I think that wraps up my second impressions, my second look now that I got them in the studio. Really, I feel like the base iPhone 15s, if you're thinking if you want to buy one of these or pre-order them, it's a bigger improvement than it seems on paper. Like, nothing is actually new here, but because it's bringing things from last year's Pro phone, it's actually a very solid phone.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna get it. I mean, he's just stupid. I mean, I can buy. I've been an iPhone user for more than 10 years now, 11 years. Okay. I feel like if I buy a Samsung phone or a Google phone, I'll have more options. The main reason I'm staying with iPhone now is just such a pain to move things across. If there was an easy, quick way to move things across, I might be an Android phone again. But it's just a pain.